about a month ago, it was dawn, I was just getting ready to take the dogs for a walk and I heard this rumbling noise. Didn't really know where it had come from or what it was. So I went out, took the dogs for a walk, and then when I got back to the house and it was proper daylight, I could see that something had happened to the strawberry farm just over there. And it was really, I had to go and get the binoculars to have a look. And at first I thought maybe it was a gas explosion because all the polytunnels had just, there was bits of it all over the place. But we found out maybe later that day or the next day that it had actually been a tornado that had blown through.
I took this footage a few weeks ago, soon after the tornado hit the greenhouse. You can also see just how much rain we've been getting by all the flooding in the fields. These greenhouses we used to grow strawberries, and from our local village's Facebook page, it turns out that they were only a few weeks away from harvesting their annual crop of strawberries when this tornado hit. The damage is extensive and has twisted and warped the metal frame and totally shredded most of the covering, with parts of it completely blown away. Hopefully this business will be able to recover from this disaster. I see on our local Facebook page that our village president has been looking into their insurance to see if they can help this business rebuild. Spring is the season where we grow lots and lots of grass on the farm. In the main parts, in the main fields, we grow grass, special types of grass for Joaquims sheep so that they have food to eat in the dry summer months. And in other areas like this one olive grove over here, we also have grass growing, but we don't actually want the grass to grow here because as soon as the summer arrives, all of this grass is going to dry out. It's going to be tall, it's going to be between the olive trees, and if there is any fire, all of these trees will obviously burn. So we need to keep this short and we need to keep this cut. To help me this year, I've been given a secret weapon. This is the Anthbot Genie 3000, and if you look in the video description, I'm going to put a link where you can have a look at this on Anthbot's website, and you can also buy one of these for yourself if you want. And it's a very cool device. It uses cameras to basically navigate. It's got a camera on each side, it's got cameras on the front. It also has something called RTK, which is a very accurate version of GPS. It's accurate down to 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters. So a really cool device. Now, I'm very impressed with the simplicity of this Anthbot. It basically has 3 main parts. You have the lawnmower itself, you have its home base or its charging station or charging base, and then you have this RTK antenna, and this antenna is basically plugged in to the charging station with one wire, and then there's one other wire that basically runs to the house into the wall socket and gives the whole thing power. Now, like most things these days, it comes with an app where you can basically set the device up and create your own maps so that it knows where it's going to be cutting.
Please start remote control of the robot to begin creating map boundary.
If you've ever used an Xbox or a PlayStation, you've got the little joystick controls, up, down, left, right. And this makes it super easy for you to control the Anthbot. And what you want to do the very first time you use it is you want to trace the outline of the entire area where you want it to cut. I feel like every time that I've tried to film for the last couple of months, since January, it's rained. We are actually in spring now, and it's been raining the entire time. April, which is coming up next month, is the month of rain. So we just seem to have a lot of rain happening at the moment. It's making it super difficult for me to do any videos at the moment. Property videos, super difficult, and these vlogs also really difficult. The kind of cameras and drones and things that I'm using can't be in the rain. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to go in now because the rain is on the way. There it is. More rain. And the weather forecast says that this is continuing for probably about a week. Oh well. So after a rainy night, we've woken up to a beautiful morning. It was quite misty earlier, and now the sun's poking through. But everything is very, very wet, especially our grasses. But with a whole week of rain ahead of us, I've got to get this mower in action because our olive grove is starting to get really overgrown. Now, we've got loads of lawned areas on the farm. This is kind of like our car parking area, like when we have friends around. This is where they can park their cars or their vans or whatever. I also like to keep this little road section cut, and I like to keep this section cut as well here. And then obviously we need this whole olive grove section cut as well, and the road just on the side of it that leads down into our bottom field. So yesterday I set up the maps. This is the olive grove section over here. This is the car parking section. I split it up into different zones so that I can tell it to do the olive grove as a separate zone to the car park zone. And today we're going to do the olive grove.
Heading to designated area to start mowing.
And it's as easy as that, it just starts. Now I don't know if this is going to be the best time to be cutting grass, because obviously this grass is really wet. I mean, look at this, it's completely soaked, and there's a lot of it, and some of it's really tall as well. So I think I'm really going to be putting this mower through its paces, but I like to do that. At the end of the day, I want to show you guys that this thing is capable, and yeah, well, it's got a big challenge today.
So this is the first time, I don't know, in like 2 or 3 weeks that we haven't had any rain during the day. So this is the first bit of sunshine. So I'm taking that opportunity to finish off pruning the grapevines, probably a little bit late, but I wasn't going to come out in the rain. There's a limit to my waterproofness, but yeah, so I need to get that done. That's my job for today.
At the start of spring, our farm is full of bees. The air is just buzzing with the sound. These aren't regular bees. They appear to be going to the ground and digging holes for them to live in. I'm assuming that these are solitary bees. As they fly around, they grab each other mid-air and drop to the ground, in what I can only assume is some kind of mating ritual. Clasping onto each other, I'm not sure if this is a mating ritual or if this is some type of a fight. It appears to be quite gentle at times, and then a bit more aggressive at others. This is the first time that I've actually seen this behavior. I always wondered where all these bees came from. And we can see by their long antennae and their large eyes that these aren't your regular honeybees. This is some kind of other species. Maybe our viewers at home will know what type of species these are and give us some more info. What a big difference it makes when the sun comes out. It's just so pretty. Still after, well, since 2019, what are we, 2025 now, so almost 6 years of being here, and I'm still gobsmacked with just how beautiful this place is, especially at this time of year. This over here is the charging pad, or its base station. I wasn't able to really show you that yesterday because obviously the mower was attached to it. It's been outside for about a month, so obviously it's a little bit dirty and stuff. And these are the charging pins here, so this is where it gets power to charge the battery. And yeah, that's what it looks like. So it's quite a small pad and it's quite inconspicuous. And what's also going to be interesting is to have a look at how this thing navigates around objects, because it's going to have to navigate around about 100 trees, and it's going to have to use its cameras to get around those obstacles. And the cameras that it's using are on the front and on the sides. Now this one's actually quite interesting because it has side cameras. A lot of these RTK mowers don't have side cameras, so it is kind of an added bonus to have those on this. Now this is a huge area. As I said, it's around 3,000 or 4,000 square meters of olive grove, so it's going to take a long time. So a little mower like this has a 20 centimeter cutting disc, so it's only 20 centimeter width that it has to go up and down with. My push mower was about 57 centimeters, so almost 3 times the width. Also, a push mower is a little bit quicker. It was a big petrol mower with I think a 300cc or 250cc motor, and yeah, obviously that's got a lot of power and a really big cutting disc, and that would take me 1 full day, sometimes 2 days, to cut this whole area. And then this mower, obviously it's going a little bit slower and the cutting disc is 1/3 of the size, so I estimate that it could potentially take 2 to 3 days to basically finish this entire thing. But I mean, does that really matter? At the end of the day, I'm not the one that's having to walk around and cut the grass. It just does its own thing in the background, and you know, I can sit back and do other stuff. So I don't know if it's picking it up on the camera, but I can definitely see the lines where the grass has been cut versus where it hasn't been cut. So it is making a difference, even though the grass is wet. And yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, obviously, if it was cutting dry grass, it would probably be a lot easier for these blades to get through, and it would probably give you a much neater cut. Right, so here it's getting quite close to the tree. I see it's slowing down as the cameras pick up the object. It's getting to the charging base now. I wonder if it's going to turn. Okay, so it's navigating and figuring out what's going on. And let's see how it works out this tree area. Okay, it seems like it's just going to be going in straight lines. Obviously it's going to try and be as efficient as possible and cut in straight lines, and in a moment we'll probably see how it gets to the trees. So the app is pretty cool. It shows you exactly where the mower is. We can zoom in. It shows you all of these areas here are the parts that are already done. We can see up here how it's managed to get around these 2 trees and figure it out. And obviously there's like a line of trees going down here, so it's basically choosing like the best path. We can see the outline. This is the outline area of where it's going to be cutting, and yeah, it's saying it's done 145 square meters so far. It's taken 52 minutes. It's got 74% battery left, and then when the battery gets low, it'll automatically come back to the charging pad, plug itself in, charge up, and then it'll carry on with its job. Got some really big clouds up there, but this mower will figure it out. It's got a built-in rain sensor, so when the rain's coming down, it'll automatically park itself. And here we can actually see quite distinct lines of where it's cut and where it has to cut still. So even with this wet, mushy grass, it's still managing to cut through and give us quite a nice finish. So the cameras on the Anthbot are there to detect objects, and it's also for safety. So if I stand in front, watch what happens. It basically sees me and avoids me. And that's great if you've got pets or little children or something like that. So in our last vlog, we built this chicken enclosure, this chicken run, and we had people commenting saying that the chickens are going to jump over, etc., etc. We haven't had any escapes from them jumping over. We have had a couple of escapes, but that's happened just in this corner over here, so just down here, which is why I've had to put a log. Obviously there's a bit of a divot in there, so some of the chickens have been sneaking under there, but other than that, it's been working pretty well. So here's a great opportunity to show you how it's going to navigate around the trees. Look at that. So I haven't told it where any of these trees are, and it's navigated around all of these trees so far, no problems. There's also something else that I want to try and show here. We're on quite a big slope. It's quite difficult to show slopes with a camera, but this is capable of cutting on big angles and on big slopes. So that's pretty impressive. This mower is basically designed for like a lawn, like a proper lawn at your house, you know, and what I'm putting it through here is quite an extreme test, really. You know, something else I want to point out is just how quiet this lawnmower is. It really doesn't make much noise at all. I mean, right now this is about as noisy as it gets. It's going through some like really thick weeds here, but yeah, it's nothing like a big lawnmower.
Starting to charge.
Alright, so I messed up. When this thing went back to charge, I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to get a camera and have a look underneath, so I can show you guys what the cutting discs look like underneath there and the wheels, and just show you what it looks like. Unfortunately, when I did that, it detected that it was at this weird angle, so it basically stopped it from operating. It threw up an error message, and I wasn't too sure how to solve the error message, so I thought I would just reset it. So I switched it off, powered it down, and then I powered it back on again. And unfortunately, because I've done that, it's now forgotten that it was in the middle of a job, so I can't resume this job. It's going to have to recut all of this again. Now, this isn't something that normally happens. This is because I'm an idiot and I decided to reset it. But normally what will happen is it'll go back to recharge, and then until the job is finished, it'll keep going back out and cutting all of the remaining area. So yeah, I'm an idiot. Little doggies, shall we go for a walk, my little doggies? Shall we go for a walk? What about you, Eddie? It has turned into an absolutely glorious day. It's bizarre. The weather report was talking about how we're going to have rain for like another week, and yeah, absolutely stunning. So this is the beauty of having robots on the farm, is that while this thing's cutting the grass for me, we can chill out. We can go and walk the doggies. It's actually amazing how relaxed the dogs are around like the robot mower. It was only on the very first day when they first saw it, they were like, what the hell is that? And now they just treat it like it's just something else on the farm. Now this is what spring is supposed to look like. These blue skies, the green grass. I mean, it's starting to come together. It's really starting to look like Christmas. No, like spring.
I hope so. It feels like it's been a very long wet winter this year.
Yeah, these fields are all soggy, and we've got lots of flooding happening. Although this is dried out. Yesterday this was completely soaked.
Still very wet there.
Yeah, oh yeah, it is soaked, yeah. Nice. This is a lovely habitat for toads. We have lots of Iberian toads, housewife toads, all sorts of little amphibians, newts, salamanders, and this is a lovely habitat for them. This is all heading towards the lowest point of the farm, which is in that corner, just back there. So while the lawnmower is all the way back up there in that olive grove, we actually have this huge field here. This is our bottom field, and I think at one point in time this was full of olive trees. And if we look at these two huge ones here in the background, we can see this one's still standing, this one's has a couple of problems, and then there's a dead one just in the background there. And I think what probably happened was over the years in winter, when all of the water comes through this field, it just rotted out the roots. And these are the last two surviving ones. This is actually our biggest olive tree on the farm. It's absolutely enormous. The size of this trunk is just amazing. And this is definitely hundreds of years old. What an incredible tree. Our dogs absolutely love this field. It's just full of little creatures, mice and moles. They love digging for moles. This is all the holes that, like Eddie's dug this giant one over here. Mimo is the master mole catcher, so you can see she's sniffing around these holes over here, looking for something. There we go. Get it! Get it, Mimo! Get him! Get him! Good girl! She's very good. I wouldn't be surprised if she pops one out the ground now. Although I don't think those are moles she's after. I think she's after some mice. I can see a little hole in the ground from where the mice are. Yeah, I've just realised it's probably not going to make great footage for YouTube showing Mimo killing a whole family of mice, so I think I'll carry on walking. So Gina, did you find some?
This little one here, it looks more like it doesn't look like a cat print.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a badger or something.
Yeah. And then the little one next to it here. I know we have African genets, African mongoose, and we have seen those down here with our trail cams, so that could be what it is. I've actually just received a new trail cam. It's a really awesome one. I'm going to be setting that up and showing you guys in another one of my vlogs. I can't wait. It looks really, really cool. I have to buy another memory card for it. I've run out of memory cards and I need to get a whole bunch of batteries, but yeah, I think it's going to take some incredible footage of some animals on the farm. So now we're heading to our most flooded area.
What that little one there is.
Oh yeah, that's like a really interesting, yeah, it's almost like a lynx or something. It's got a big A big pad. Wow. So Gina's been making little canals to drain the fields, and they drain them into this drainage ditch over here, which runs all the way along and into, I believe, the Ockreza River, which then goes into the Murraytaka Dam. So there's nothing gone to waste. And then through here as well there's a lot of toad spawn. Somewhere here, I'm going to try and see if I can find some. There it is, these little black dots. These are little toad eggs. So there's a whole bunch of toad spawn, and all of this over here, all of this big clumps. And those will be the local toads here. Dave and Jeff, the local toads. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to let it all drain out like this, because we've got lots of nutrients coming from the field, and this is all going to drain away, you know. And also, this is the froggies' nursing grounds. Like, the tadpoles need something to swim in. Gee, someone's going crazy with a chainsaw down there. But I guess that's a good thing, because obviously when the summer hits, the last thing you want is a whole bunch of dry vegetation and stuff. So it's nice that it's being looked after.
It's probably olives, I think, probably, because everyone seems to be trimming their olive trees. Yeah,
no, you're right, it is probably olives. So without Gina's drainage ditches, we would have actually had like a little pond here, a little lake. The reason Gina's cut those in there is so that the field doesn't stay flooded, because obviously the grass and stuff will die. All of the seeds that Joaquim planted will die. So, you know, there is a good reason for her doing it. But I actually like having the pond there, and I like having a space for the froggies and the toads. Gina, I'm going to ask the viewers to tell us what they think is better. Leave the pond and let the froggies live, or make the...
Or leave it, get mosquitoes,
yeah,
bite the doggies, get leishmaniasis.
It's too late for that, they've already got it.
Anyway.
Gina, remember the very first time that we walked around this field and we couldn't believe the size of it, and we were all like, oh my goodness, like, how the hell are we going to look after a farm this size?
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's just normal. I mean, it doesn't even feel big. I want more land. More land. Yeah, for me, the biggest worry was how to cut all of the grass, because, you know, in 2019 when I first came here, I knew that Portugal had a problem with wildfires, and obviously if you have a big piece of land, you have to keep the grass cut. And from my garden in England, I knew just how difficult it was to just keep mowing grass. So I was really concerned about that, and obviously I've got a great solution with Joaquim and his sheep, and you know, he needs the grass, so most of the fields get looked after like that. And then it's just those areas around the house that I need to cut in the spring. And now I don't even have to worry about that. I've got these amazing robot mowers, the Anthbot, which is going to be looking after the olive grove and the outside parts of the farm, and then the FJ Dynamics one, which is going to be doing the garden in and around the house. How awesome is that? It seems every time we walk, the grass has grown longer. It seems to be growing a couple of centimeters every single day. So earlier on, when I was filming those bees, I had no idea what they were. I knew that they looked different. It turns out that they are solitary bees, that they do live in the ground, and that they're called long-horned bees. And you get them in the UK, you get them in Western Europe, you get them actually going through Europe into Russia and also into China apparently. So pretty awesome. I had no idea that they were different. And this is their preferred spot. Every single year they come back here and they burrow into the ground and make their little homes. Just this spot. Only this spot on the farm, nowhere else. Look how tall, look how high our pond is. It's amazing, huh? It's like, well, it's not as high as its highest point ever, which is at the bottom of that wooden pole, but it's nearly there. I mean, this has been a super wet year so far, you know, and the rain is actually just about to start. The rain starts in April.
Well, I think we might have had a quota for this year.
I kind of hope so, but I don't want to force nature into...
No. I mean, let nature do what it wants to do, but nature needs to just give us a bit of sunshine now.
Well, it has.
Oh.
And this has been absolutely glorious.
There's lots of fishies over there.
Mm-hmm.
You want to pick it up on the camera, kind
Let's
of
see.
through the trees.
Yeah, it's difficult to see that. That's in the background. But yeah, I can see them with my eyes there. We were wondering about the fish because we put probably 10 fish in here, or 5 fish or something, almost 6 years ago. And they multiplied. They got to hundreds and even thousands. There were just so many little baby fry and goldfish. And then they just disappeared. Last year they just vanished. And I thought that maybe an otter had got in there, or a turtle or something. And we just saw none. I mean, they had all just disappeared. I mean, we had some big koi and all sorts of stuff. And now we're starting to see some of the fish again. So I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if they were hiding or what the story is. But there are definitely fish in here still. So no dog walk would be complete without having a look in our big well. This is the agricultural well. And look at it. It's about 2 bricks away from... Oh, what's going on, Eddie? Oh, he's chasing a car. He's not going to be able to run through that. It's all boggy. He's doing a good job though. Oh.
Slowed him down.
Yeah. So the water level is only about a brick. Well, it's a couple of bricks away from ground level. And it's actually so high up that the drain, which is underneath here, there's a little drain pipe. The drain is actually submerged. So there's more water coming in than is draining out. It's just going up and up. In fact, this is probably the highest that I've ever seen this well. It's incredible. We used to have fish in there. There's like actually a video where I caught a fish with a fishing rod inside there.
Native fish, not goldfish or anything. We never put fish in there, they were just native.
Well, yeah. I mean, the farmers who used to own the farm before us, apparently they put it in there.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think they're in there anymore. I haven't seen them again.
Yeah, but we put that green...
I know, but
on the top.
We used to see them. So in the summertime, we would walk past and you could actually see the shadows of the fish swimming and stuff. And now, they seem to have disappeared. We're getting our grass back. Look at that. It's so tall now that Mimo can almost hide in it. It's incredible. Hello. It's 2025 and we have robots on the farm doing chores automatically. I mean, this is pretty cool. The future is bright. It's almost as bright as those headlights. So because it had to restart, it restarted and it's kind of still in the same section as it was earlier on today. It did actually move a little bit across. As you can see here in the middle of the screen, we've got a nice sort of line on the ground, kind of in the center of the screen. And then it's obviously got all of this to go. And I think it's going to start on this, well, it's going to start on this a little bit later. But for now, it's kind of retracing its footsteps, getting back to where it was before I stupidly reset the thing. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow we'll get all of this done. It's been raining for the last couple of days now, and it's quite frustrating because I really want to get this video finished, but we have just got torrential rain. It is some nasty weather out there, Gina.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Oh, I think the rain's actually coming in.
No, look up.
Yeah. It's done it. It's finally done it. And now it's taking itself back up to its little charging pad to plug itself in and have a well-earned rest.
Starting to charge.
Now, I want to say a big thanks to Heidi from Anthbot for providing us the Genie 3000. It's been an absolutely fantastic device to have. I can't believe how it's actually dealt with this olive grove. It's actually managed to cut through all those tricky areas. It's managed to use its camera to get around all of those trees all on its own without getting stuck. It's been fantastic, so thank you very much. Now, if you at home are interested in buying one of these, have a look in the video description below. I'm going to put a link to this product on the Anthbot website. You're going to be able to see all of its specs. You're going to be able to see the price. I'm also going to put a code, so a special code that you guys are going to be able to get a discount with. So have a look at that. Get yourself a discount on one of these things. And we'll see you next week, hopefully, with another episode. That is, if this weather decides to behave itself. I just think we just have more rain all the way through April. Anyway, let's see. Hopefully we'll see you soon. And tell us what you think about this mower. Tell us what you think about the episode. And we'll see you in another one later. All the best. Ciao. I've got to go inside. It's raining.